Rob is going to be presenting today, Rob Levy, and he has been with the group just over a year. That has really stepped up to the plate and become a very active participant, which we're grateful for. And kind of last day or so, he said, "Oh, I'll take that day." So he'll do today, and then he'll present the full presentation later on in the year.
Yeah,
So, Rob, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so what I want to do today is just give just a bunch of value and just kind of go through some of the handouts that I gave you. So I'll just take like 2 minutes and just tell a little bit about myself. So Get Uncoached is the name of my practice. Life, personal, professional coaching is the work that I do with my clients. And I received my professional coaching accreditation from IPEC, which is the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. Coaching is designed to help people manifest success in their career or any other area of their life, however they measure success. So a little bit about my background. I started my personal growth journey in the early to mid-90s. And for the last 25 years, I've accumulated like hundreds of hours of transformational studies. I've worked with clients using many healing modalities, and I've transitioned my work from being an energy healer and doing intuitive work with people to coaching, personal and professional. And the opportunity that's created is that I'm able to work with my clients on a consistent basis, because when you're doing healing work or energy work, people just come to you when they're in crisis. And it didn't seem sustainable for people to be able to take what comes out of a session and to be able to apply it and being held accountable for it and being a promise holder to them and keeping them on track. So the transition has actually worked very nicely. Some of the studies I've included, some of the studies that I've done in the past is team and leadership work, communication programs, coaching, and business workshops. I'm a certified Soma Pi energy healer, sound vibrational healer, perceptive awareness technique. I'm also a Reiki master. I've studied martial arts for 10 years, and I've participated in some extreme experiential workshops. I owned and operated a custom woodworking business in New York, and I have 20 plus years of sales and client relationship experience. And this is kind of like the work that I've done. I just pass this along. It's kind of cleaning out my desk, and I found these. I'll just show you guys. It's the kind of work that I used to do. So, so if you take a look at the first page. And if you want to work with me here and take a pen and start filling things out. So the first page, what you want to do is it's taking a look at your values. So select your top 5 values in the first column and rate them based on the importance to you. So 10 being the most important. So as you're going through, you don't have to pick out the 5, just go through, and if things are important to you, give them high numbers, and then you're going to go back and circle the top 5. And we'll just take like a minute to do that.
So when we pick the top 5?
Yeah, you're going to fill out, so there may be 7 or 8 that are really important to you, and some of them may be a 6 or a 7, but you're going to notice how many have 9 and 10s. Go back and circle the 8, 9, and 10s. And if you have 6 of them, that's fine.
So you're supposed to rate them all?
No, you don't have to. Skip the ones that aren't that important to you. And the ones that kind of like stand out, put a number next to, or put a check mark next to, then you can go back and kind of circle 5 of them. And then the 5 that you choose, right next to that, you want to give them a number from 1 to 5 as in regards to how well you live them in your life. So are those values present in your everyday life? So you could have a 10 on relationship as a value, but it could be rated in number 1, where you feel like your relationships aren't working the way you would want them to. fairly quickly because I have about 3 different exercises I want to be able to share with you guys today. 3 before. So just circle the top 5 so we can kind of reference them very quickly. You're just like another 15 seconds. Okay. So now just think of a time in your life when things were going great in your relationships or a romantic relationship, in your career, your family, your friends. And kind of paint that picture of when things were really like you felt like you were going, like downstream and you didn't really have to paddle hard and things just were working. All right? So in those cases, if you think about that story and you take a look at your top values that you circled, those values were being met. And you are in alignment with the things that are most important to you in your life. Now think of a time when things are in your life are going like shit. Not the way you want them to go. Lots of struggle. And then take a look at the values that your top values and how they were absent or not being met. Does everybody see like that kind of like correlates?
Yes.
Yeah? Yes?
Yep.
So being clear on your values gives you access to shifting or changing a situation. Knowing when a value is not present, you can ask yourself what value is not here in this current moment or this current situation. And then it gives you the opportunity to be able to take a look at how can I add that value back into that situation. So what do I need to do? What conversations do I need to have? With who do I need to have this conversation with? And by when will I have the conversation? So it's a way for you to start to identify when times aren't going the way you want them to go, to be able to have some power in the situation and to have some access to being able to shift it. Does it give anybody any kind of freedom around any situation or access to kind of handling a situation differently? How did this kind of land with you guys? Everybody's just kind of looking at me. Does it help as far as just kind of understanding a situation or being able to kind of like move it in a different direction?
You don't always think about those things.
What?
You don't always think about what, these kind of.
Right.
What's
Yeah.
stopping us from being.
Right, we just get caught up in emotional state, and in an emotional state, we're no longer thinking how to be creative, how to solve it in a way that's going to be best serving us. We kind of solve it out of like a strategy that may be kind of like the way of least resistance, least amount of pain, but it may not give you the result that you want. So now let's kind of move off this. And we could take a look at the wheels. And this is 2 wheels that I kind of felt were most appropriate to kind of just throw out there. For each one of those spokes, there are wheels that kind of define that area much greater. So I felt this was, just the best thing to kind of just 2 of them to throw your way. So this is more like a see, move, and manage tool. And what you want to do is you want to rate each of those sections as far as how they are showing up in your life today. And if you're able to see it, then you're able to ask yourself, what actions or tasks do I need to take? And you start to put in very specific, measurable actions that will create results aligned with those actions. Because a lot of times we will have a complaint about something, and we won't be able to narrow it down to exactly what do I need to do to be able to move it. Yes?
I'm just wondering about conflicting values. Like, I feel like it's really simple to be, like, this is who I am and this is what I believe in, but a lot of us are more complicated than that, and some of our values are like in direct contradiction with other values, and
Yeah.
it's really hard to...
Yeah, so there's values that are catabolic and anabolic. So there's different values that we create and that we have that are kind of like to go against something like if you don't like to argue, then the value may be harmony. But if you're choosing harmony because you're afraid of being confronted by something, then there's work to be done there to be able to move it into a growth, positive type of value. So yeah, you get that when you're trying to make up for something or fix something, it shows up as a value, but it's actually a little bit deeper than that. Does that answer your question?
It does. I guess, that's where you would come in, is like to help decipher which ones are the real values and which ones are the things that are not being addressed properly.
That's what coaching does. It really has you just really narrow in and really be able to speak. And the coach is really they're not the expert. You're the expert in your life, and a coach is just trained to listen and to be able to hear kind of like what's not being said, and then question that a little bit more so people get clearer on really what a pure value is.
I think another conflict could come up, let's say, like if you value freedom a lot, but you also value family a lot at the same time. So, you're married and you have a child, and you want a lot of freedom, something's got to give. Because you can't be fully present with your family all the time if you just want to have your own freedom and do what you want.
Right.
So you can have those values at the same time. Or business, you really want to be good to the environment and just plant edible, but you also need to make a living and do that at the same time. How do you reconcile those types of things?
Right. Well, the first piece is bringing balance. So the idea of having it all and being able to have. So if you don't have freedom, and that's a really important value to you, you're not going to be able to go spend time with your family and be completely present. But if you're able to say, no, freedom is going to give me a presence in my family, then this is what I need to do first. And then really just setting up a structure to be able to fulfill on that and being held accountable for that, or having a promise holder, or putting it out there to like 3 friends, this is what we do once a week, or so let's see, where do I want to go with this? So you did those, you filled out both of those? The career wheel, and you don't have to. So here, let's do this.
We'll do. You got about 1 minute left.
I only have 1 minute left?
And then,
Do I have, is that the 10 or the 15?
That's 15.
It is. Oh, darn. Okay. Okay. Next time, what we'll do is we're going to create really quick, like personal mission statements and a business mission statement. It's a lot of fun. It takes about 5 minutes. So after the summer, I'll bring that back to you guys. So I'll stop here. Does anybody have any other questions?
Do you still work with kids in woodwork?
I don't.
No?
I don't. No. I mean, I do a few hours a week because I teach,
Yeah.
but that's it. I don't do anything in my shop. Yeah.
Who's your ideal client?
Ideal client is, it's funny because I don't really have an ideal client. Anybody who wants to be able to, who's committed to coaching, committed to really stepping in, and is willing to do the work to get what they want in their life. Yeah. So I work with a lot of business people, salespeople, people who. I've worked with some executives, some C-level people in the past. I'm in this group as a life coach. Right now, we don't have that executive coach. So, that's was part of my training. I work with already successful, healthy people that want to bring something to the next level.
How would we refer someone to?
I'm sorry?
How would we refer someone to you?
Um,
Not with that scenario.
So the best way is that I offer a 1-hour complimentary session to anybody, and it's a call designed for them to be able to see how I work and if we're appropriate together, and then I'm able to see what they're working on. I know if I could provide that type of service to them, and then, we go through the, after the coaching session, and I do a lot of work on the phone. Most of my work is on the phone. I do work with some people face-to-face. I've had a client who always wanted to meet in a coffee shop, so we always did that. And we couldn't get deep into emotional work, and a couple times when we decided, when he was ready to go there, I would say, okay, you come to my office and we can go a little bit deeper. But other times it's really working. I tend to work very practical these days, and I don't go deep into the healing work and so much into the intuitive work. It's more user-friendly for people to be able to step in, and I'm very sensitive to where people are at. So if they don't like the confronting aspect of how coaching could occur, then it's done, it's done a little bit more gently and designed to be able to work more in their rhythm.
So if you got any other questions, see Rob afterwards, but thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.